What's going on, y'all? So I hope everybody is happy and healthy this morning. That's the most important thing. So I wanted to come on here and slide on this topic in regards to what went down between Idris and his daughter Idris Elba. So his daughter actually auditioned for a movie role called Beast, and it's being produced by Will Packer. Now, unfortunately, Isan did not get the part. She was notified by Will Packer. Will says that he sees Isan as a niece to him, and it was very hard to break the news, but he had to keep it real. Now, as a result of Isan not getting the part, she didn't speak to her father for 3 weeks. Now, I can understand that her spirit must have been crushed. This was an opportunity for you to star alongside your father, playing the role that you really are to him in real life, and that's his daughter. And then, you don't make the cut. So just recently, Idris and Will, they went on to the Breakfast Club to promote this film, and they talked about Idris's daughter not getting the role. And oddly enough, they said it was due to the lack of chemistry between Idris and Isan, and that's kind of weird based off the fact that, father and daughter, but it is a different dynamic when you're starring in a film, especially when it's fictional compared to real life. So I can understand it to some degree, but I'm still not feeling how Will Packer and Idris handled this situation. Now, they said that Idris was very hard on his daughter when he was coaching her, throughout the process of trying to get her the role. But ultimately, Idris wanted his daughter to earn the role. He didn't want her to just be given the role based off the fact that she's his daughter, right? So basically, he wanted his daughter to get it out of the mud. And so Will gave Idris props for not showing nepotism and for not putting pressure on the producers to push his daughter through the necessary loops for her to land the role. So what I'm going to do right here is I'm going to play you a snippet of the conversation that they had about this, and then I'll be right back.
My daughter didn't talk to me for about 3 weeks.
Wow.
So, it's cool, man.
Yeah, I would be kind of upset too. I
know.
I'd be like, but you say we don't have no chemistry as father and daughter?
And who called and said, hey, you didn't get the part?
Him.
I did. I called and talked to her because I've known Isan for a very long time. You know what I mean? I'm like Uncle Will. That's like, my little niece, and she's amazing. And here's what I'll say. I'll give props to Idris because a lot of people, you talk about nepotism, like two dads that are like for real, like want the best for their kids but hard on them, Idris Elba and Ice Cube. Like real deal. Right. Like Idris was definitely like, listen, I want her to put her through the ropes, go in, give her a shot, audition. He auditioned with her. He was very tough on her, and he said, listen, at the end of the day, we're going to make the best decision for the movie. I trust you, Will. Trust the director, Balt. And she was very good, very close. Idris is right. Some of the nuances of like that real life relationship sometimes doesn't translate on screen.
On screen, yeah.
But, he was tough.
But she was very gracious about it. We got through that, and I'm really proud of her to go through that, you know what I mean, and then not get the role but still come to the premiere.
But you're gonna be seeing her though. You're definitely gonna be seeing her.
Yeah, that's part of the process.
If it's a role that her dad's not in, right, and she gets that, right, which she will on her own, I just think that's an even better way to
I
jump
agree.
into the game.
Because you're gonna keep her in mind now when you see something, and that's part of the casting process. You might not get this, but when I see something you're right for,
100%.
All right, so you guys heard that. And so let me explain where I'm coming from. I just don't understand why we can't have nepotism within our community. It seems like we're the only community that want our children to struggle and work hard. Now, I'm speaking from the standpoint of people within our community that are rich, that are in the position to keep generational wealth, accumulating within their family. Like, why do we want our kids to struggle? See, I'm of the mindset that if I made it, my family has made it. When it comes to my kids, I'm your father. You're going to get any and every opportunity to be successful as long as I can help it. That's what other cultures do. They practice nepotism to the 10th power. That's why they get ahead and stay ahead. It's so much poison in our community when it comes to parenting. If it's not the parents that want their kids out of the house by the time they turn 12, you know what I'm saying? It's the parents that have made it and still want their children to struggle. I mean, come on. How many of y'all, drop down in the comments, have been told by your parents when you were 13 or 14, I can't wait till you turn 18 to get out of my house? That is so much poison. That is traumatic for some children, and that's why some children turn to the streets. Some of these parents out here, these rich black parents out here, they feel that just because they struggled, that their kids have to struggle, right? Like they're teaching them a lesson. And I understand that to a certain extent, right? You don't want your children to suffer because you failed as a parent to teach them the necessary tools to manage their lives when they get older. I understand that in its totality, but at the end of the day, my man, my girl, I'm giving my kids the world. You know what I'm saying? If I made it to be a multi-millionaire, then they're millionaires. As long as they're good kids and they're not getting in trouble and they're showing some drive and they're showing some ambition, if daddy got it, they got it. Now, another dynamic that I'm looking at when it comes to this particular situation is the fact that Idris's daughter, Isan, she's a dark-skinned woman, right? She's a beautiful young lady, don't get me wrong. But we know throughout history that the darker the pigmentation is, the harder it can be for you to land roles. So imagine you getting told no by someone that considers you to be their niece and also your father, who are two black men. Now, the reason why I've come to the conclusion that this may be humiliating for her is the simple fact that Will and Idris went on to the Breakfast Club talking about this situation. Trust and believe me, if my daughter wanted to audition for a movie starring alongside me, you know, her auditions would be held privately. I wouldn't let anybody know that she was auditioning for the role because I want to protect our relationship and I want to protect her from being picked on and joked on if she didn't get the role, right? So basically no one knew this until Idris and Will Packer went on the Breakfast Club and talked about the fact that Isan didn't get the role. That has to be humiliating. Now her friends and people that really don't like her can come at her sideways and say, you're the one that was turned down by your daddy. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, it's humiliating, right? They should have kept their mouth shut about it. You know, I would have never exposed my daughter and her shortcomings on the Breakfast Club. I just wouldn't have went there. Nobody needed to know. Now, I know that some people are going to say, well, she wasn't the right fit. Maybe she didn't do her job. And I get that. And I understand that. Don't get me wrong. But at the end of the day, Idris did not protect his daughter to the magnitude that he should have, right? Because just like I said, no one should have known that she auditioned. No one should have known that she didn't speak to him for 3 weeks after she didn't get the part. No one should have known anything about this particular situation just in case it went left. Now, in my estimation, if I was in Idris's position, my daughter would have been on the big screen. I'm just keeping it real. And don't get me wrong, I know that it was probably nepotism on the part of Idris that got his daughter through the door to audition in the first place, but there's no way in the world, right, that I'm gonna embarrass my daughter like this, right? And even if I coached her up to the point where I just felt like she just didn't get it, again, nobody would know about it. Nobody, because at the end of the day, the most important relationship in this particular instance would be the relationship that I have with my daughter. Now, let me say this. This is the last thing I have to say in regards to this situation, right? So Idris was on record telling Will, said, hey, listen, treat my daughter just like the rest of them, right? You know, make her get it from the mud, or get it through the mud rather, right? But at the end of the day, when she didn't get the role, you had Will Packer contact your daughter to tell her that she didn't get the role, instead of being a father and not a coward, and sit your daughter down and tell your daughter, say, hey, baby, you didn't make it this time. You didn't get the role this time, but I love you. Maybe you'll get the next role. You may be disappointed at this particular time, but at the end of the day, as your father, I just wanted to come to you and tell you that I love you and the sky's the limit. He didn't even have the gratitude to do that. He had Will Packer to contact his daughter. What a coward move. And that's probably why she elected not to talk to his ass for 3 weeks, because she saw the bitch in him. But anyway, I'm gonna let this go and let y'all have at it in the comments. Drop down and let me know what you think about this particular situation. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. And until next time, peace.